Brett says a lot of Dodgers are waiting to take Vesia's spot, Vesia's position. So let's talk 3, turning it into 2 talking points. It is a clear weak spot. As I got to stop hitting the table. You guys are I don't want to cause an earthquake here. Clear weak spot in this potentially really, really good Dodger bullpen. If there's one, it is Alex Vesia. We've talked about it. We all kind of have been pointing several fingers at him all off season long and now into spring training. And that's a tough spot for him because I know AV is somebody that, and his wife are people that are pretty active on the social media machine. And I don't think anybody here wants Alex Vesia to be bad or be put into a bad position. His success is our gain as Dodgers fans because we want him to be good to make the team more good so we can get a nice piece of metal and all that. But, admittedly, my guy, Alex Vesia, goes through those stretches of missing his spot by a lot. A lot of up and in fastballs. I mentioned in the last stream, this is where I was a little nervous when I heard he was going to throw live BP to Shohei Ohtani and his $700 million beautiful face, where that fastball likes to kind of eat and run away from Vesia's hand. But, a sidebar of today's game where we see, again, the one lone blemish coming from Alex Vesia. I loved seeing John Rooney finish the game. That's my kind of – I decided – I'm going to have one guy that I'm going to have as my sleeper impact pick for the team this season, and it's going to be John Rooney because he's a lefty, he's a little older, and he needs an opportunity. He's gotten better. Me and Casey Porter of Dodgers Daily, we spoke about Vesia's friend or Vesia's potential guy coming for his job. He's somebody that you should keep an eye on. He had the sweeper going today. He's got the fastball. If he can hit his location, you're going to be in a good spot with John Rooney as somebody who's a backup. But there's a couple other guys, that are in camp to challenge for jobs. And the Dodgers need to treat this spring training as an honest competition on all across the roster, whether it's at shortstop, if Lux does struggle, if Hayward, if the clock strikes midnight on Hayward, we're focusing just on that with Outman or whatever. Like, don't give these guys the longest of leashes. Yes, you can, because all wins are created equal, but wins earlier in the season, they don't feel as important. You have a little bit of leeway to kind of test and see what these guys are made out of. We saw it last year with lost my train of thought because I saw something pop across the screen. But anyways, we've seen it before. You can see what these guys are made out of, and I'll throw out like a Syndergaard. He struggled early, he was good-ish. It was okay in spring training, and they gave him probably a little bit too much leeway, and then they eventually pulled the plug. You can do that. This team has the opportunity to kind of do that. We could look at 2022 Edwin Rios. They gave him some opportunity. It didn't quite work out, and they pulled the plug on that. But there are a couple of non-roster guys, if we are looking at Alex Vesia, and I'll backtrack for a second when I say an honest competition. There's one guy that's always going to be a lock. It's going to be, I had the name, Austin Barnes. Austin Barnes, he can do no wrong. We know this. He's not going to lose his job based on performance. It's just not going to happen, especially in spring training. But anyways, back to the lefty, back to that kind of glaring, potentially weak spot in a also potentially really, really good bullpen. We look at this guy. We look at Alex Vesia, and we also look at a couple of the non-roster guys, some guys I pointed out in the non-roster video, except for one, because he wasn't a Dodger at that point. Tim and I do talk about him in the video that comes on after this, so check that out, Dodgers 2080. But two non-roster guys that the Dodgers brought in just at the start of camp and then a week into spring training with Justin Wilson and TJ McFarland. These are guys that have had a stretch. They've had different versions of major league success. TJ McFarland's been a big leaguer for a long time. A knock on him, he's pretty inconsistent when it comes to him being good. Also, been an Astro in his career, if I remember correctly. Justin Wilson, Cub, he was a Cub guy. He was coming back from Tommy John last year and then had another injury when he was warming up to enter the game for the first time, enter an MLB game for the first time, coming back from the surgery. But when healthy, Justin Wilson has been pretty damn good. So that's the type of guy you look at with this Dodger club. If they didn't have Alex Vesia, somebody like Wilson would have the kind of shoe in to get playing time, potentially make that opening day roster. But because it's such a tight opening day roster right now, really the competition is like one spot in the bullpen at most, but not really, because if they want Fireisen in there, they want Dan Hudson in there. If they can't, answer the bell, they'll be IL'd, and whatever. You'll have a little bit of leeway to try some of these guys, but keep an eye on Justin Wilson. Keep an eye on John Rooney. Keep a little bit of side eye on TJ McFarland if things don't work out with Alex Vesia this season.